The next big real estate crash is coming, and it's not going to look like it ever has before. It's not going to be because of bad loans. The banks have learned their lessons. It's not going to be because of inflation. There's already signs brewing right now. It's one of the reasons why we decided to go ahead and sell our house in Florida. You can see it happening with the insurance companies pulling out of certain areas. It's a huge canary in a coal mine, and people need to start really paying attention to make sure that they are protecting themselves. The people who are at risk the most for losing their homes are going to be low and middle income families who don't have a big financial backup when their home values tank. The biggest problems that we face in the future in the real estate market is due to natural disasters, flooding, fires, wind, storms. We can already see what's going on in Florida and California. Insurance companies are pulling out. Just a couple weeks ago, State Farm announced that they were pulling out of California altogether. And we have got a situation where natural disasters are increasing at the same time that home values are going up substantially. And insurance companies are just not profitable anymore. And they are pulling out of areas that are at the most risk and where they're losing money. These insurance companies, this is their job. They are professionals. They hire data analysts to look at the risk factors in all areas of the country, and they want to make a profit. And when they are saying that an area is too risky for them to insure, or is so risky that they're going to increase their rates so much, then we have got to listen and realize that the odds of our house being destroyed or severely damaged by a natural disaster in that area, listen to the professionals. They are saying that it is too risky to be there. So we decided to sell our house in Florida last year because we saw what was going on in the state and in the area with insurance companies dropping people like flies, leaving the state. Since 2017, 11 big companies have left Florida altogether. And for those people that still had insurance on their home from 2023 to 2024, insurance rates went up on average 23%. Things are so bad in Florida that the state of Florida has its own insurance program called Citizens Insurance, and it is a government subsidized homeowners insurance program to help cover homes that are uninsurable. This insurance is subsidized by taxpayers and is seen as like the last ditch effort for the state to cover some of these houses. Deductibles and copays are super high when you have this type of insurance. Citizens is the largest insurer in Florida, and the average yearly payment for somebody with Citizens Insurance in Florida is $6,000 a year. The national average is only $1,700. So there's two main things that are causing insurance rates to go up so much and for insurance companies to ultimately leave an area. One is there have been more claims filed in certain areas because of the increase of natural disasters. And then also because home values have continued to increase so much, it is costing them more money when a claim is filed. Both of these things lead to insurance companies not being as profitable, and the risk is too great to continue to insure homes in certain areas. So when an insurance company decides that your home is no longer worth the risk, they can either drop you or they can increase your insurance substantially. And what this does to your home's value is it decreases it. So let's say you live in an area where natural disasters are increasing. Like, let's say like us, you had a home in Florida, not far off the coast. We were not in a flood zone, but really all of Florida is technically in a flood zone. We just were in a less likely to be flooded area, but the floodplain is expanding. So if we're not in a flood zone now, we might be in a flood zone next year, because they're always reevaluating what is considered a flood zone, because floods are increasing and water levels are rising. So our house may one day become uninsurable. Living on the coast in Florida, or in an area of California where there's a lot of wildfires, or anywhere along the coast where a major storm could come and damage your home, or the whole area, a big storm rolls through and damages a lot of the homes in the area, the home values there can tank. And you have lost so much equity that you had in your home previously. If your home becomes uninsurable or your insurance rates rise dramatically, then that makes your home harder to sell in the future. So even if you want to sell your home, it's going to be harder to sell. If your home value goes down and you had a loan on your home, you might be upside down on the payment for that house. So even after you sell it, you still owe money on your house. If your homeowner's insurance premiums and deductibles increase, and you are already on a really tight budget, you might not be able to afford your new homeowner's insurance. That was something that happened to us in Florida. Is every year our homeowner's insurance was increasing and increasing and increasing, to the point where was it ever going to end? The prices were just going to keep going up. And it wasn't just because our home values increased. It was also because all of the claims that were being filed in the state of Florida that they were having to pay out, that was increasing our rates too, in order to keep the company profitable. So I really just want to make sure that everyone is really aware in considering the area that they are living. Are you at a high risk of natural disasters? What is going on with the insurance rates in your area and around you? Are you able to take that risk of your home being destroyed in a natural disaster or damaged in a natural disaster, of your home becoming uninsurable or the rates increasing? Be very forward thinking about what is going on in your area and if your home is going to continue to hold its value. There are certain areas that are at a much greater risk than other areas. We sold our house in Florida, a very high risk area. It's not if, it's when. When is a natural disaster going to happen? When are insurance companies going to drop the houses in our area and our house becomes uninsurable? That will happen in the future. I don't know if it's going to be 5 years in the future or 50 years in the future, but Florida is a very high risk area. I didn't realize how imminent it was until we lived there and we saw what was going on and we experienced what was going on. But we decided to sell our house in Florida, and we bought property in Southwest Virginia in the mountains. We considered a lot of areas, and there are other areas in the country that are pretty low risk for natural disasters, but that was a huge consideration when we were buying property, is where we were going to be and how at risk that property was. This was a long-term investment for us, and we wanted to make sure that a natural disaster was not going to threaten our ability to get insurance in the future or decrease the value of a home that we build on the property. We want it to be land that our children can continue to live on. All it takes is one big fire, one big storm to come through and wipe out an entire town, city, area of the country. The next real estate crash is not going to happen all over the country all at one time. It is going to happen in pockets all across the country. And people are going to begin to move away from these higher risk areas. And as people begin to realize what is really going on and they are moving away from these higher risk areas to lower risk areas, the property value of lower risk areas are going to substantially increase. In the higher risk areas, the areas that are seeing floods and storms and fires, those home values are going to go down. Don't let yourself get in a position where you are unable to move if you want to or you need to. It's going to be those of us who don't have a lot of money to begin with that are going to be stuck in these areas and are going to experience this next crash. The people who don't have the extra money to escape these natural disasters. So make sure that you are prepared, you have a plan, and you know what could potentially happen in the future. So do you feel like the value of your home is at risk for decreasing in the future because of natural disasters? Or do you feel like you live in a pretty low risk area? And let me know if you have considered or have moved because of these increases of natural disasters. This is not just something that's happening in the United States. This is happening all over the world. And it's something that we really need to be aware of moving forward, not just from a financial perspective, but also from a humanitarian perspective. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.